The company has two applications in MiniUp. This is ARBCORE Up, that's how blue it is. This is an application for investors. The third turns out to be. The second is ARP Club. This application is already for partners. It is a network program. And on January 15th, that is, a month and a half after the launch, they also launched a web version of the site. So on December 1st, I just followed this link and made myself an account and put $100 here just to see how the passive will work, how it will come, and how the company will develop. So let's click on the Start button. I'll now show you the main screen, that is, this is what people see and now, in fact, on the main screen you see in real time how the arbitrage transaction takes place. That is, the company's product is as simple as possible. We all understand how Arbitrage works. We buy cheaper on one exchange, let's say Bitcoin on another exchange, we sell more expensive. This difference is called spread and this is how the company earns what I did. Let's go upstairs now to the balance sheet and see that I have $5,000 here, but in fact everything was. Initially no. Assets. The main offer for passive investors from the company is 2.5x for 3 to 5 months. That is, we can get a net profit of 150%. If you invested $1,000, the maximum you will receive is $2,500. And here is the answer to the first question, that is, what is the company's interest in taking our money? It's very simple. When we give money to the company, our money participates as an asset that moves inside the company, turns out, and participate in the turnover. That is, this is the first motivation. And the second motivation, what is it? Company? It doesn't work 24 hours, but only 15 hours. It generates profit for you and me. And 9 o'clock the company uses all the money that was raised to earn money for your own needs, to cover salaries, expenses, and so on. And this mode is called after earn. That is, we as investors receive only 0.03% per hour. That is, such a reduced percentage. Arbitration can also be different, because in the first couple of days, in December, I started talking about it. There was the first objection that arbitration had died a long time ago. Indeed, in 2023 there was a very big hype around orbiting, but it was P2P orbiting, that is, many were selling there, let's say. Tether is more expensive, but we bought it cheaper for a ruble. This is no longer work, because in the CIS there is a problem with cards. Now all over the world all exchanges control these processes. And here we have inter-exchange arbitrage. And now I will show you the most interesting thing, that is, something that no one has ever shown that I have seen. And my experience is already more than 8 years in this market. Let us now find some kind of transaction, that is, yes, the arbitration circle, and let's look at its details. For example, on April 17th at 13.44 my money participated in the pool and... Let's go on like this so that you understand from start to finish. The company currently has approximately $9 million. This is all the money that was raised from December 5th to today. This money is divided into pools. Each pool is worth $100,000. In turn, this pool is divided into 2 tokens. That is, our first token will be at 50K, for example USDT. The second one will be for $50,000, let's say Saleni. This money is located on different exchanges, for example, on the Bybit exchange and, for example, on the MEX exchange. And now let's go into the application. We even get data from the exchange in real time. I'll show you now that we can always find the spread, the most you know, the non-believers, that in general this scheme can really work. I'm just saying everything. Yes, a simple thing you can do at home right now on one phone, for example, open the Bybit exchange on another, you can open the Binance exchange and in real time just look. Is the rate the same everywhere? And you will be surprised because let's say now it's sent to us on one exchange, but here's the cost. Sell any 93.72 to another 94.71. Yes, this is all changing quickly, and in a manual format we most likely will not be able to make money from this. Now, if we have bots that, according to AP, can instantly be sold on one exchange and bought on another, we can catch the difference in the exchange rate in just these seconds and make a profit from it. So, the company shows us transaction hashes after completion. And now let's move on to the first hash. That is, we see that on the KuCoin exchange. Money was transferred so that there was $50,000. Click on the hash directly in the mini API and we see that $50,000. This is the official blockchain Tom viewer. They went to the hot wallet of the KuCoin exchange KuCoin 1. Let's go and see that it's signed right here. This is an exchange wallet, that is, one account already has the amount that will participate in this transaction on the second account. We should. And here we see the same thing, 500 sales went to the BitGet exchange. We can even click here. We see that there are more than $6 million here, almost 7, that is, again, the money went to the exchange account. As soon as the company sells the glass of sun. For those who don't know about the glass, let me show you what you see on Bitcoin right now. Below there are different orders. And at some rate we have more, that is, but there are people willing to buy. At some rate there are fewer to buy as soon as the company sells this glass at that thickness. At the price that will give us a profit. The third hash of the transaction is sit in profit, that is, in this pool of $100,000 of my money, $5,018 participated and my profit was 3.16. In total, the company earned $120 from this volume in about an hour. Let's go to the profit section. This is the third hash at the end, and now we see the amount that was earned, 120.29. This money after the profit was sent to the 9CA contract. You can also look at it later, and this contract is fully responsible for automatic withdrawals, distribution, withdrawals of the affiliate program and replenishment. That is, literally 2 minutes ago someone topped up with $10, we have automatic withdrawals and so on. That is, you can scroll through and you can see all the activity on UST. Here you always have it in your Telegram. A history of approximately 10 to 12 such orbital circles will be stored, and you can already, as an investor, check what I showed you today. Same with regards to replenishment, and well, what I liked, that is, I always look at how many steps it takes my partner. The moment from registration to the start of making a profit. By clicking on the Start button, you automatically register. Third, you click on your balance further. I always suggest that you initially link your UST ID tone address here. I recommend using either ToneSpace or ToneKeeper, that is, any decentralized wallet. And after that you click on Top Up Your Trading Account, and as you see the contract, so that is where we should send the money. This is 9SA, that is what I showed you. Copy the address, copy the meme, top up. And final. $10 they will be automatically withdrawn to your wallet that you linked. And now we go to the auto payment history section, and now we see all my last ones there, how many 6 withdrawals that I received. They come to my ToneSpace wallet, that is, again for me it's convenient because the mini up is in Telegram, ToneSpace is also in Telegram. We go to UST and here they are, the replenishments that you saw. This is roughly how it all happens. If the amount is more than $1,000, then you will receive a profit daily. For my $5,000 I get about $53 to $55. That is, the percentage is always different. Also regarding this other application, it was the affiliate market that I showed you the difference. Here is the first bonus from the company, which is called a linear bonus. This is the simplest one, that is, now you see on the screen my first line, this is 46 people, you see how much I have entered. These people and my total volume of the first line is $45,000, also 5% are credited automatically as soon as your partner clicked on the auto trading button, that is, this is also very important. And here at the top you see the balance, it is formed separately here 1146. Let me also show you live how quickly the withdrawal occurs because for me personally. This is also one of these important factors. I won't say that it's the main one, but it's important, because in many companies I had a lot of money hanging around. That is, now I click that I want to bet the entire amount for withdrawal, I have more than $10, so I can do this, there is no commission charged here, and that is, I will now receive 11.46. Let's go back to the wallet, do back, USDT and refresh the page. 1146. That is, in principle, the money flies out instantly, that is, yes, the system automatically works fully. Now we move on to the second application. This is the ARB valve application. This is already according to the network program. Before I tell you in full now, yes, that is, all types of income, and there are 3 of them in total, so we have already sorted out the first one, 5% are personally Let's go to the web version of the site, because just yesterday, there was a very cool update and in my opinion, it's like the company is already showing transaction hashes. This is a big plus, no one has done this, but the company has moved on and in what way. And now, will be replenished in the currency that is comfortable for us. That is, let's say, if I have Bitcoin and I don't want to sell it, please, I can top up directly in Bitcoin and I will also receive income in Bitcoin. All I need for this is to create a web version for myself. It is done through a mini application, select Bitcoin, and top up the minimum amount to this address. It is very important here that each currency pair has its own limit, both for input and output. We have already gone over the tether completely, that is, $50 is the minimum amount, and from $10 the money will be sent to your wallet. For example, for reference it is 0.5 Salam, for Bitcoin it is 0.05 Bitcoin, approximately there are $3,500 and the withdrawal will go from 0.01 Bitcoin BNB from 1 BNB. And I also draw your attention to the fact that the percentage of profitability also differs in one currency or another. That is, let's say now in real time for USDT the company gives 1.3% per day, almost 1.4%, for BNB 2%, but for Bitcoin this has recently been more than 4% per day. Although more recently, about 3% came to BNB. I also have assets in other currencies, that is, I already use any exchange here, because here up to with $50,000 you can easily receive your assets, and here's the example of BNB. Now I'll also show you the history of replenishments. That is, I am slowly increasing my assets. From the 7th, it turns out, March, I began gradually pouring money into the BNB. And so you see how approximately it has increased daily. Here you can simply exaggerate the currency in which you believe, but also don't forget to set auto-withdrawal, that is, yes for this or that currency, but here everything is probably. And it turns out to be a percentage of the passive part. Based on updates from yesterday, here's what else the company is showing us. That is, there is a section of all contracts. And now we see in real time the total amount of money that is involved in turnover in ARBCORE. This is $9,553,000. And below, that is, yes, the company transparently shows, that is, who will be replenished by how much. In real time it is also clear that the number of contracts has already exceeded 16,000. People in fact are already in the company of more than 16,000 users, and most of them, let's say I was just recently in Thailand at the first offline event, there were 101, it turns out people arrived. And about 70 to 80 people, these were all foreign leaders, that is, the CIS now, well, to a lesser extent there are companies, so everything is still ahead if you thought that the companies have been there for 3 months and that's all. This is not so, but now the company has grabbed me, that is, the company. Let's now go back to the RB Club app. There are only 3 types of bonus. The first is 5%, the second is income from income, which is 10% of your partner's earnings. Let me now show you in simple language using my example. That is, my current total volume of the structure is $794,000. Let the average profit per day be 1.5%, we multiply this amount by 1.5 and it turns out that my partners are 398 people. This is their money. In fact, today they will earn at 1.5% $11,910, and we simply take and subtract the 0, that is, this is approximately my income on this account per day. We just have 2 accounts, so later, for those who are interested, we will show another second account. The numbers there will be much nicer, but here we now just want to get the point across. Here, but how to start receiving a bonus for this? The company has a ranking system, so click on the rank button and look. The minimum rank is bronze, that is, there are 3 such checkpoints that need to be complete. In fact, even for an ordinary user, the first rank is very simple. That is, you do your checkpoint. If you complete them, then you can receive income from the first to the third line, that is, in total it will be 14 people. Let's go back now in a note, I'll show you that. And how the system is filled and how the overflows work, because in my company there are people who have already reached an income of more than $200 a day, while they have never even seen such figures in for a month, even yes in network companies. Why did this happen? Let's give an example that this is my account, and as we already said at the beginning of the Zoom, that filling occurs from top to bottom, from left to right. That is, when I invite the first partner through my link, he takes the position on the left. The second takes a position on the right. If I invite a third person using my link, he will go like this to the first free cell. Third. My fourth person is already singing to the first. Thus, I have already given 2 overflows to the first participant. Here is above me, let's give an example. For example, Ruslin also has a person on the right. There are also 2 people. Let's imagine that it's just this half. Ruslin has already filled it completely. And now, when Ruslin invites a new partner using his link, he goes from top to bottom, from left to right, and looks for the first free cell. And she ends up already under my second person. That is, here is the overflow that Ruslin gave. That is, it will further overflow here. And even in this example, yes, we already have 2 people who, in theory, can begin to receive income from income. But that for this they need to correctly close the bronze rank. They see that, let's say these people came under them. Let's take this as an example. Let's say this one we put $5,000 here, put $1,000, these put their total, let's say $25,000. That is, a volume has already appeared below me and I'm starting to receive income from it, but these 2 people haven't done anything yet. And this is where the magic begins, that when they start simply realizing that from this they can receive additional income daily. And when they begin to close their ranks, let's say the first one invites the first partner, he goes overflowing under the third here, this is his first partner, the second one stands here, let's say the first one comes in for $1,000. the second for $50. Here they are, two partners from the first. It turns out that he himself put in $250 and now the volume is already more than 500. So what happens then? With all this money? We also multiply 50 by 1.5% and it turns out that $105 will be earned by those people who fell under him and whom he called, and he will already receive plus $11 per day. Here you already count there for 30 days and so on, but the mechanics think that you understand, and now with regards to the line, for me there are always only 2 people in the first line, here they are, then in the second there are 4 people. The third contains 8 people. And if, let's say, these people start inviting someone too, then, yes, we've got another thing going. The formation of new lines, that is, for me it will already be line 4, line 5, line 6 and so on and when money appears here again, because these people only come in when they have invested, I do not receive income from the income. But I think, damn, like, I already have, let's say, in the amount of money, well, let's say, $50,000, and I only receive income from an income of $7,000. How can I get money from the entire volume? I go back to the ranks and understand that in fact I just need to top up my personal deposit again. And so that either my personal invitees, that is, also increase their assets, or I'm just looking for new people. And if I'm looking for new people, then I again overflow someone, that is, and this is floor by floor, well, the mechanics begin to work very well. Because the first people who entered passively, they see the overflows under them, we see that movement is happening throughout the entire team, this of course, you know, it makes a very cool effect. I think it's clear here. And now the third type of income, which is also very pleasant, is a cashback bonus. Literally, when I was flying on the plane to Omsk, I received a bonus of $5,000. Why? Let me show you. That is, each one earns ranks, and you can receive a one-time bonus. That is, it does not add up, it turns out to be a difference. When your team volume reaches $1,000, you get 2%. That's plus $20 you reach the volume in the 2,500 structure you get the difference plus $30 then plus $50 and if you are at the bronze rank. $100 is the maximum amount you can receive for this type of income. And if you understand that the volume of your team, even taking into account the overflow, is already $100,000. You just look through it and you already understand that if you close gold for yourself, you will get yourself $2,000. Total cashbacks and this is how it turns out. I was just flying on a plane, I received plus $5,000, this is the difference, that is, I had $500,000 before. Volume I received $10,000 and when it became $750,000 I received another plus $5,000. Here are 3 types of bonuses. The company has also now launched a new promotion. This is the next event, which will be on June 22nd in Montenegro. For Russians, you can now get there very easily until September 1st. Next there will be a visa regime. That is, there will already be 7 days and 7 nights. There is one condition. This is the first line of $50,000. Until June 15th, all participants who invited get 50,000 people using their link. They have the right to participate in this event and take with them either their significant other or their partner. Let us remind you once again, participants, friends, can you hear me? Updates are coming here. Just yesterday I looked, you can believe me, there were 29 active participants who had already completed this promo.